Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Football Podcast. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia. That is Mike Teglier, and that other handsome fella is Kyle Yates. That's right. Salute all you like, Mr. Yates. That's right. You're the captain of the mock draft today, and that's what we're doing. It's a Superflex Dynasty startup mock draft episode, and yes, we're going to take you through that pick by pick. The three of us are going to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe, which I don't know which is better. If you want to go head-to-head or toe-to-toe, they're kind of the same thing. I guess if you're going toe-to-toe, you're kind of going head-to-head. I don't know. It's a stupid expression. But anyway, we've got all of that for you today. Plus, we've got some fun discussion because I don't know if people noticed it, but over the weekend, there was a move made, a trade by the Atlanta Falcons moving Julio Jones over to the Tennessee Titans. So I'm going to set the stage with this here. Julio gets out. The Titans get their wide receiver to fill the gap of all the guys that left and abandoned all of those beautiful targets. Kyle Pitts has a door open for him for more opportunity. I'm going to throw out a hot take here, perhaps. I think everybody's a winner here. Atlanta wins. They move on from the older player. They open up things for Kyle Pitts. Russell Gage, I think, is a winner. Calvin Ridley's a winner. He's the number one there. Ryan Tannehill's a winner. Julio Jones is a winner. And yes, A.J. Brown might also be a winner. He gets to learn next to one of the all-time greats, Julio Jones. So many fantastic things. Whenever you have a veteran like that, a Hall of Fame caliber talent, nothing can come but good things from that. And yes, his presence there might hurt some productivity, but let's not forget, A.J. Brown's whole thing was efficiency. And he's the king of efficiency. So, Tags, let's start with you before we get into the mock. Your thoughts and breakdown on the winners and losers of this deal of Julio Jones.
Yeah, we all put our thoughts in an article. If you guys wanted to go check that out, it's a little bit more in depth than we're going to get into here. But basically, I don't want to say everyone's a winner. They're not. Anthony Ferkser's a loser. Matt Ryan is definitely a big loser in this one. Kyle Pitts got a bump, sure. Calvin Ridley, he was already up there in targets. You weren't going to move him much. Russell Gage, I don't think that he's going to be a very good wide receiver in two wide receiver. I don't think he's going to be very good in two wide receiver sets. So basically, all he was doing was playing as a third wide receiver in this team. He was playing in the slot. He was benefiting from Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones being on the field. If they put him on the perimeter, I don't know how that's going to go. I think it might be Tajay Sharp actually playing on the perimeter for Arthur Smith there. He does know the offense a little bit. So that could be how they roll. But honestly, from the Atlanta side, I just think the offense is going to suck more in particular, and I don't think that you can say. I don't think you can say Julio Jones is gone.
Quality stuff right
There's
there.
all these vacated targets.
More. I love that. That is surefire analysis. I love it.
No, you just can't. You can't be like, there's all these vacated targets. It's a different offense. Arthur Smith's offense ranked 30th and 31st in pass attempts, and that was with Ryan Tannehill being very damn good throwing the football. So now you go to Matt Ryan, a downgrade from Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to say it. It's a downgrade from Ryan Tannehill. So I don't like the Falcons offense much more. I think this hurts Mike Davis in terms of scoring opportunities in that offense. But you go over to the Titans side of the ball. Derrick Henry, I didn't move him at all. I believe Derrick Henry is someone that going to have more scoring opportunities, maybe a little less carries, a little bit less targets. But last year he saw 8+ men in the box 28% of the time. That number is going to go down with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown out there. So I'm not moving anybody down too much. A.J. Brown went down a couple spots, nothing crazy. Julio came in at wide receiver 12. So I still think that he's a bottom end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2, even in this Titans offense that is going to throw the ball a whole lot more in 2021.
You know, it's funny. I didn't move Julio a whole lot either. In fact, he stayed put, basically, because I kind of had him as that low-end wide receiver 1. Tannehill did get a little bit of a bump for me, so now he is gone now into that right around 10-11 range at quarterback, depending on who you like more, but he's right there neck and neck, so I made those adjustments. But, Yates, what's your feeling on this, too? And is this now the full open season for the Kyle Pitts hype machine to just get out of control and derail itself?
Oh man, yeah, let's talk about Kyle Pitts because I have a very hard time now keeping him outside my top 5. I spit up my projections I did my projection and it spit him out at tight end 4. So, I mean, I just, at this point, with how much they're projected to throw the ball because of their defense, the state of the overall team, right? And the targets have to go somewhere. You look at behind Calvin Ridley, it's Russell Gage, who I think does see a target increase, but then it's not like he's going to be a target hog necessarily. And then who's playing wide receiver 2? Like, is it Tajay Sharp? And if it's Tajay Sharp, the targets are not going to be funneled his way. So, yeah, I think Kyle Pitts here, it's 115 plus targets. Easy this season. So I think that it is very, very difficult to keep him outside of that top 5. Now, would I be like really, really comfortable pulling the trigger at that point? Probably not. But yeah, it's very hard to keep him outside my top 5. Ryan Tannehill, though, was the other big mover for me. Moved out from around like QB 15 all the way up to QB 10 in my rankings there. So when you add Julio Jones, when you've got A.J. Brown, who just shatters all metrics of efficiency, this is going to be such a fun offense to watch. I do think that they're going to throw the ball a little bit more than they did last year with Arthur Smith, with Todd Downing there as the OC. So I think they're going to throw the ball a little bit more, which leads to some great success there for Ryan Tannehill. And let's not forget that he can move. He can score rushing touchdowns himself. So, yeah, I really like Tannehill this year.
Yeah, moved up from 14 overall quarterback for me too, all the way to 11. And I got to say, I'm with you with Pitts as well. I made that same move. I don't know how to keep him out of that discussion now at 4. I really don't. It's very difficult.
I want to throw out I'm going to be the negative guy here. And I'm going to ask
Not you.
Yates.
You, the negative guy? That's
hold on.
impossible.
Yates.
Okay.
Yates, Jonnu Smith, very talented, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jonnu Smith in this Arthur Smith offense over the last 2 years has had 109 targets. Last year, 66, 63 targets, whatever it was. Why are we expecting Kyle Pitts to all of a sudden get 120 targets? I mean, the Titans offense, it was pretty top heavy. Like, it was Corey Davis, it was A.J. Brown, there was nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. They didn't throw the ball a whole lot under Arthur Smith. The tight ends have been efficient. Ferkser got like 50-some targets last year. So who's to say that Kyle Pitts isn't like around 90 targets, and then we have Hayden Hurst around 60? I think that's a realistic possibility, and I think that's where the part is where people are going to go overboard for Kyle Pitts, and I understand the want to do that, but we can't forget he's a rookie tight end. This is going to be an offense that's completely drastically different than Dirk Cutter's offense, where there's not going to be 650 targets to go around. In fact, I'm dialing this offense back. Like, my projections, even on a 17-game schedule, came back at like 606, so I anticipate them taking a big step back. So that's my only, I just want to...
I think it's real.
Get past that.
I think that's a realistic claim, Yates. Go ahead.
To answer your question, Tags, the difference is Derrick Henry versus Mike Davis. Where Arthur Smith had Derrick Henry that he could lean back on and give the ball a ton to. You look at the running back depth chart here with Mike Davis, who wore down throughout the last season, right? And say what you want about his quads, like they're fantastic, but yet, he's not going to be able to handle that type of workload. And then it's Quadri Allison, it's Javion Hawkins, a 183-pound undrafted free agent, So I think that they are going to have to throw the ball a ton. Atlanta's defense is not fantastic, so that's going to lead to more pass attempts here. So I think just copying and pasting what Arthur Smith did in Tennessee with Derrick Henry isn't going to work here in Atlanta, and that's why I'm confident in saying that Kyle Pitts is going to have 115 plus targets, and I do think that Hayden Hurst is going to be involved a ton too. 2 tight end sets. If you don't have that outside wide receiver 2 now that you feel comfortable leaning back on, get Hayden Hurst on the field. He's a solid tight end. He's not anything fantastic, but he's solid. And so you can lean on him and Kyle Pitts, move Kyle Pitts outside. That's going to be something too that we have to talk about. Kyle Pitts lining up outside wide at wide receiver, and Hayden Hurst there at lining up at tight end.
That's something I think you got to keep an eye out for in the preseason too, right away. See where Kyle Pitts is going to be lining up, because if he is out there a little bit more as a wide receiver, I think that tells you a lot of what your expectations might be, and then all of a sudden you feel maybe more comfortable taking him where he's going to end up going, which is going to be a very high price come draft day. Yeah. Now, what's obviously a high price too is your health. That's what's most important. And I want to remind everybody, thanks to our sponsor here, Magic Spoon, that carbs and sugar and unhealthy foods don't have to be part of your breakfast routine. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. It's only 140 calories, too. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, GMO-free, 2 tight end premium league. It's got everything. It's so good. Build your own box, available flavors to build your own custom bundle. They're cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. And mixing cocoa and peanut butter is good to get that little chocolate peanut butter vibe going on. So all you got to do to get all this is go to magicspoon.com/fantasypros, grab that custom bundle of cereal and try it today, and be sure to use that promo code FANTASYPROS at checkout to save $5 off your order. And they're so confident that it's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. 100% happiness is a level of happiness Tags can't even fathom. He is so unhappy all the time about so many things. But remember, you can get your next delicious bowl of cereal guilt-free and 100% happiness. Magic Spoon, right in a bowl.com/fantasypros, and use that fantasy code FANTASYPROS to save $5 off as well. Now we're going to be jumping in here to our startup Dynasty Superflex mock. We're going to go through the picks, and I want to remind everybody the Draft Wizard is up and running. Go to fantasypros.com/simulator and you can get involved in a draft. You can go there and start to work out some of these things, start to get prepared. We're in June now, so go to fantasypros.com/simulator. Now, we are in the multi-user draft software, which isn't available yet, but you can still mock on your own for now, but that's coming soon, so just hang with us. It'll be out there very soon. But in the meantime, we're going to start this off and kick things off. I'm ready to mock. You boys ready? Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so let us spin the wheel and see what happens here. Who's going to be where? The wizard is working. It's going through all of this different settings and whatnot. We're going through, we're looking, it's moving, and where are we going to end up? Who knows? I can only hope that I have a top 5 pick so I can get one of those premium quarterbacks. That's it. There we go. Team 1, and then Joey P, Team 2. Yates is Team 4, and of course the positive one, Tags, is Team 3. Beautiful. You guys saw before I did.
Speak it into existence.
Speak it into existence, and it must be true. There you have it. So Mahomes goes 1. That brings it to me. You know what? Last time I took Christian McCaffrey in the startup, I guess I just have to do it again, darn it. I'm going to just do it. And now we're drafting right in a row, which is going to be a good time. So CMC for me. I got the top player flex thing. I love the emojis. I really just do the mocks here just for the emojis, just to kind of make me feel better. Tags, your pick is next. Mahomes and McCaffrey off the board.
I don't like being up this high in the draft, honestly, especially in a super flex, and being trapped in between you two idiots.
Isn't that your life?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And being where on the turn, it's like you have to reach, and it's, man.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought this team name said positive 1. Already it's negative, and you haven't even made
I'm taking Josh Allen. I'm positive. My team is going to rock.
Hey, good. All right, Yates.
Josh Allen.
The power of positivity. Go ahead.
Yeah, here at the Tags mentioned it at the turn. So we are going to have a lot of picks in between our next one here. And so I've got to go quarterback here at the 104. And I've got guys like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott staring me in the face here. I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. Just the ability that he brings with the rushing ability. Now you've got AJ Green in town. You've got Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore to take some pressure off of him. So I will go with Kyler Murray here, and no running game, really, with James Conner and Chase Edmonds. I think we could see a ridiculous amount of rushing touchdowns. I'll go Kyler Murray.
Very good pick there, obviously, Kyler Murray at the 4, and now this is true. Now everybody's flying off the board here. This is unique. I don't know if we've ever been like 1, 2, 3 in a row in any of these mocks. No. We've seen all of the talent go off, and the last couple picks coming back, Herbert, DK Metcalf, and Swift. That is 2, 6, 2, 7, and 2, 8, which brings us to 2, 9, and Mr. Yates is up for his pick.
Yeah, so here at the 209, and this is the point now where we talked about it on the tips on how to like nail your first dynasty startup draft, right, Joe? And we said, for me, I go into it with not the locked in strategy, but at least the idea that I want to get 2 top tier quarterbacks in the first 4 rounds in a super flex league. So, but the other position that I really want to hammer is running back because it dries up really, really quickly.
Yeah, it does.
So here at the 209, I've got guys like Cam Akers, Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott. Guys, I'm going to go with Zeke here. I am expecting a big bounce back year from him with Dak Prescott back and healthy. He was on a ridiculous pace when Dak was healthy there last season. So Zeke here at the 209.
Very nice. Excellent. All right, I'm going to go get my quarterback here, and I can't believe he's still here.
You're not up.
I'm going to go with the generational... Oh, wait, son of a... No, now I know exactly what's going to happen.
Joe Burrow,
here.
Is that what you're going to take?
No, actually, it's not. It's somebody with longer hair because I'm jealous. So go ahead. I forgot that it was you than me. So my bad.
All right. So I'm going to pair up. And I don't aim to do this, and I'm not going to steal your pick. I don't aim to pair wide receiver quarterback very often, but Stephon Diggs is on the board.
Yeah.
27 years old. Like, he flashed wide receiver, like overall wide receiver 1 potential last year. Over 120 receptions, was it? Kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to take Stephon Diggs here. I know running back's important, but there's a tier of we're in like a middle of a tier of running backs, and I feel like I'll be able to get the one I want with a 303 pick.
Well, very good. Excellent. Where was I? Oh, yes, generational quarterback. That's where I was. All right. How dare you try to make a pick in between my speech here. Trevor Lawrence, let's go. Let's do it. I'm going to get him in that rookie year, and we're going to go on for the next 10 years together. He and I, it's going to be a beautiful thing. So there you have it. After that, Hopkins and Kittle go. It is back to me. And you're going to hate me for this, Tags, because I'm going to take your other guy, Joe Burrow. Oh, look at that. So there you go. There's my 2 quarterbacks. I've already got McCaffrey. I'll figure out wide receivers as we go. And I got to say, I'm feeling better about that McCaffrey pick and passing on Josh Allen when I did there. Now it's time for the power of positivity. It's a new pick. Yes, it is. Go ahead, Tags. You're up.
All right. I'm looking at the running backs available on the board, and I think it's bananas that Najee Harris is still available.
Dang,
it is.
No. In terms of like Cam Akers, I can get into this like for a long time, but we don't have all the time today to talk about it. We're going to talk about Cam Akers and the whole idea that he should be valued as a top 5 running back in Dynasty or whatever the hell it is. I think it's nonsense. But yeah, I'm going to take Najee Harris.
Very good. Obviously there, a little gift that, you were so mad last time where I took him from you. I wanted to give you something. And now we've upset Yates, which mission accomplished. So Yates, you're on the clock here for the 4th pick in this draft. You've still got Cam Akers on the board, Jones, J.K. Dobbins. So where are you going next?
Yeah, so I've got Kyler and Zeke here to start my draft. I could go with quarterback here. Again, it's a long drop-off before that next pick is going to be made. So I am going to take the quarterback here. I am going to go with Russell Wilson. I do like the offense and what they're doing here with Shane Waldron. And I think that Russell Wilson has QB1 overall upside in this offense now that you've got some answers there. With what they've done. So I will go Russell Wilson here to be my QB2 to pair with Kyler Murray.
All right, now 16 players are going to go flying off the board quite quickly here. A lot of big names here. Cam Akers goes, Gibson goes, Dobbins, Waller, Eckler, McLaurin, Chase, Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, which makes me very upset. It hurts my soul. I thought he might maybe sneak back to me. It did not. Fields goes right before Yates. So Yates, you're back on the clock, my friend.
I was looking down the list and... Wait, where'd he go?
If it's a player
he went.
you
Never
want.
mind. He went at the 308. Dang it. I thought Joe Mixon was still available.
That's
and
2 dang
like,
it. In case can we get a clock on the
Sorry for the
number
language,
of dang
guys.
Jeez, watch it, Captain
right.
America.
409 here. I am looking at the running back position because it dries up so quickly. So you know what I'm going to do? I've talked about, I'm expecting big things here for Travis Etienne in Jacksonville. Nice. I think that they are going to get the ball in his hands a ton here. So I will go with Travis Etienne at the 409.
Very nice. Like that pick a lot. I'm sure he was on Tag's radar and mine. Tags, you're up next with the pick.
Yep. I am actually going to go with a running back that I believe is talented. I hate his situation. I hate the way that he's been used. But at the same time, the running back position, we've talked about it, it's drying up very quick. And it looks like Yates put the settings is to have 3 running backs in your starting lineup. So we're going to be forced to start 3. So I need to attack the position. I'm going to take Josh Jacobs here with the hope that, because he is talented. And I've never wanted to draft him well with the Raiders because of the coaching staff. But talented running back, if he does not go into the 5th year with the Raiders, maybe another team takes a chance on him, utilizes him as a wide receiver like he should be. Like, it's almost like a Joe Mixon thing where these two have just been underutilized as receivers in the passing game.
Very good. All right, that is back to me now. Got a fair amount of talent here still on this board, but the running back position is definitely starting to dry up a tad. I'm very high on this guy. I'm very high on Javonte Williams, so I'm going to take him. I do think he's going to win out sooner than later in Denver, and I feel good about getting in early with the young running back here, especially since I do have a little bit more mileage on McCaffrey from these last few years. I want to make sure I get somebody else along with him on that roster that can kind of grow into that number 1 role over the next season or 2, and I think Williams is capable of that. Jalen Hurts and Montgomery go, so it is back to me. And I got to tell you, I feel pretty good here about the pieces that are left. You have guys like DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Chris Carson's still out there, but he's got a little bit more age on him. I'm going to go ahead and take DJ Moore here, working out of the slot. Very excited about him. Is he my true prototypical wide receiver 1? No, but I've got Christian McCaffrey into very good quarterbacks, so I can handle that. So coming up next here, obviously, Tags is on the clock, and I wonder, is Kyle Pitts on your radar?
Kyle Pitts is not going to be the guy I will take here. I'm trying to figure out, going back and forth between my rankings, and it's almost teetering that line because you guys already have 2 quarterbacks, so I could talk about it. And Trey Lance is on the board. He's someone that I have as a top 12 quarterback. So do I need him here? I don't necessarily need him. I have Josh Allen, which is nice. But at the same time, it's like, do I love Chris Godwin? Allen Robinson's there. He's getting up there in age a little bit. This is a tough part.
While Tags is thinking, I want to remind everybody, Magic Spoon is delicious. Everybody loves the Magic Spoon. Now, if Tags had his Magic Spoon, he'd be ready to make this
There we
pick.
go.
And
Thank
there
you,
it is.
Tags.
It's Godwin, and he's not too happy about it, it feels like. So, but you know what? Look, he's still young enough that there's still some upside there. It's a good 2-year window still with Brady. I don't think you should be so upset about this pick.
Well, he's on a 1-year deal, the franchise tag. So, I mean,
it's true,
will
but,
he be
you know,
elsewhere?
maybe not. I mean, everybody seems to come back wherever Tom Brady is, so who knows?
Yeah, there's definitely question marks. That's the reason I'm not in love with the pick. But, I mean, getting him, was 6th round? So we're at?
Yeah, 6th round.
Fifth round.
Fifth round, yeah. Not a bad value there. All right, Kyle Pitts lasted all the way to the 6th. Yates, I know you made your pick already too. I want to scroll back and see that too, because after Godwin, Allen Robinson went to Yates. So take us through that pick and the next one you're going to make here.
Absolutely. That was a no-brainer decision. Even though I could go running back to try to shore up that position, Allen Robinson still being there in the beginning of the 5th round. With Justin Fields now as his quarterback, sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's a no-brainer pick for me. So now I'm back at the 609, and the player that I was actually debating at the running back position is still here, and that's Chris Carson. I mean,
yeah,
Carson to be my RB3 is in the 6th round of a dynasty startup. He's going to get a ton of work. I do think that you're going to see Rashad Penny involved here a little bit more than maybe we're anticipating, but that still doesn't mean that Chris Carson can't be valuable. So Chris Carson here is my RB3. I love it.
Love it too. Certainly was going to be my pick if he lasted. He did not. Now I'm sad. Let's brings us to Tags, who's the opposite of sad. He's very happy. Very, very happy, no matter what his face tells you. So where are you going for your next pick here, Tags?
All right, the Dolphins had a bunch of picks towards the top of the draft that they could have went with one of these running backs, and they didn't, which tells me that Myles Gaskin has more value than I think some people think. I'm not crazy high on him. I do think it's going to be somewhat of a timeshare. But again, this league where we start 3 running backs, it is so damn important. So I'm going to take him because I looked at the draft board and I can see the 2 teams that are going to draft after me here, Joe and then Team 1. So therefore, they both have 2 quarterbacks in their roster. They're not going to take a 3rd quarterback there. If they do, that's just they're sabotaging themselves. So I'm going to take Myles Gaskin here as my 3rd running back.
All right, very good, which leaves me to another running back wide receiver discussion here. Certainly the talent at running back, as Yates alluded to, does drop off considerably here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the plunge for another running back as well. Might be a reach, might not be. I don't know. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think we got to go and try something. And I think Trey Sermon has a real upside here in Dynasty. So I'm going to go ahead and take him and hope that he eventually wins out sooner than later. It says that it gave me the reach alert, but I really don't care. After that, Michael Carter and Waddle went, which brings me back to the guy that I actually had my eye on too, because if I can't, get the true number 1s, then I want some 1As, and I think Robert Woods kind of falls into that. So I'm going to go ahead and take Woods here for the Rams along with Stafford. So now I got DJ Moore and Woods together, which is pretty good, which leaves Tags to take his boy Julio Jones if he wants to in the 7th round.
Oh, no, I'm taking Trey Lance. I literally thought about him like 2 rounds ago, and he's been sitting there, and there's a reason I passed before, but now going back through, there's a lot of teams with 1 quarterback. He's going to go. The upside's tremendous there with Trey Lance. The 49ers are going to give him every opportunity. I don't even care. If he struggles out of the gate, his rushing will make up for a lot of that, but the 49ers are so invested in him. He's the starting quarterback for minimum 2-3 years, and that's the thing is like being under Kyle Shanahan has its benefits. So getting Trey Lance here in the 7th round in a Superflex, awesome.
There you go. So Trey Lance goes. I agree. Very good value there. Probably breaks the heart a little bit of Yates. So Yates, you're on the clock next. Where do you want to go for your next pick?
Yeah, so I've got the 3 starting running backs kind of squared away. I've got my quarterbacks. I've got Allen Robinson as my wide receiver 1. So now this is where I can really take value at the wide receiver position. I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp here. We've talked about it with Matthew Stafford in LA. I love the situation here. I think that we're heading towards a big year for Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. So if Woods was still here, I would have taken him over Cooper Kupp, but you took him there, and so I will take Cooper Kupp at that slight discount to be my wide receiver 2.
All right, Julio Jones does go. Then eventually coming back to Yates, A.J. Dillon, Will Fuller, Carson Wentz, which gives us back to Yates on the clock.
All right, so at the 809, I'm looking at just taking a glance at who is here at tight end. T.J. Hawkinson's at the top of the board, Noah Fant, Dallas Goedert. I think I can still wait and get some of those guys later on. I'm going to take a look at running back and see who is still available to make sure that I shore up that depth there. So I've got guys like Ronald Jones still available, Melvin Gordon, Damian Harris. None of these guys, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Leonard Fournette. This is why we take running back early, fellas. So really not in love with any of those players there. Looking at wide receiver, Deebo Samuel, Tyler Boyd, Adam Thielen. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to get my guy. And yeah, I'm going to go with Michael Pittman Jr. here. I second guessed myself. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman Jr. here as my wide receiver 3. I think we're about to see a big breakout season for him. So I'll get him here at the 809.
You know, I certainly don't love necessarily what's on this board. Nobody does at this point in time. But Tags, is there a player for you that you just look at and you go, ooh, I can't wait to take him because it looks like there was no hesitation for you?
There wasn't. It was Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is the guy that, you know, like you need some stability in your fantasy roster. And Deebo Samuel, I feel like is going to be this generation's Jarvis Landry, a guy that he may not win you a fantasy championship, but he's going to be so damn good for a long time. So to get him as my number 3 wide receiver to pair along with Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, I mean, I feel really good about it.
All right, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and make the next pick here. And I'll tell you what, you know, this player showed you a lot last year, and I understand Jared Goff is his quarterback for now. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take a little advantage here at tight end because I do think there's one young tight end and everyone's chasing Pitts, and rightfully so. But a couple rounds later, you know, TJ Hawkinson's around there and the volume's going to be there for him. So I'm going to go ahead with TJ here. Still got plenty of growth left potentially there, and I think I feel pretty good. Melvin Gordon, Adam Thielen go next, which puts me back on the clock. So looking at the wide receivers right now, it's Tyler Boyd, it's Curtis Samuel, it's Chenault, it's those kind of guys there. Brandon Cooks obviously available as well. Kind of into that next, you know, third wide receiver /4 tier, so it might as well take some upside. I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice with Chenault here and see what I get out of him. Since I have Trevor Lawrence already, perhaps that pairing does show out and become something good. We shall see. The positive one is now on the clock. Tags, go for it.
Ronald Jones. You know, I want to like Ronald Jones more than I do, just because I think he's actually a really good running back. I don't think he's obviously not someone that's you want to feature in the passing game, but he's the best 2-down back on that team. He played better than Leonard Fournette last year. I think people have a recency bias when it comes to Fournette and what they saw him do in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and he played really well. I'm not going to take that away from him, but Ronald Jones was hurt, and that's the only reason Fournette got that opportunity. But if you go back, Ronald Jones was really good last year with the opportunity that he did get, and he's now on the final year of his contract, so he's young enough where he's going to get another contract. So locking him up as an RB4, not bad.
Yates, you made a pick there, and let's do yours back-to-back again.
Yeah, I went with Leonard Fournette. You know, Tags talked about everything that he mentioned. You know, there is definitely some ambiguity with this backfield, no doubt about it. But taking the shot here in the 9th round to get the potential starting running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who did play extremely well in the playoffs there, I think it's worth a shot. To be my RB4, it comes with some ridiculous upside. And if he doesn't pan out, then it doesn't hurt my team a ton. So, all right, so I'm back on the clock in the 10th round. I'm going to go with Corey Davis here. You know, I think that he's going to be the wide receiver 1 in this offense. He might not be extremely productive year 1 with Zach Wilson, who I do think still has a lot of growing left to do. But the long-term outlook here for Corey Davis, again, in the back end of the 10th round to be my wide receiver 4. Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, Tags, you are back on the clock here after the Davis pick.
All right. I might visit back with the Jets. You went Corey Davis. I'm thinking about going Elijah Moore here. It's really close because I can go with someone like Michael Gallup, who has some more questions about him. Like, you don't know where he's going to wind up after Dallas. He could end up in a bad spot as a number 2 somewhere. Elijah Moore, they drafted him to pair with Zach Wilson, and it seems like those two in camp, we're hearing positive reports about the connection between those guys coming into the league. That could be a thing. So Elijah Moore, this one's tough. I'll take the upside play with Elijah Moore.
That was a thrilling, inspiring. I guess I'll take Elijah Moore. I guess. Boy, I don't know about you guys. I'm hyped for that pick. I am super excited for Elijah Moore to land with you, Tags. He's going to be really loved on your roster.
It happens. I don't know.
It happens. You can't love every pick. All right. I don't know if I'm going to love this one, but you know what? I'm looking for running backs. I see a 23-year-old guy there who had a rough rookie season. They didn't bring in anybody of note. They didn't make any big moves, which leads me to believe Zach Moss is going to get one more shot. So I'm going to take one more shot with him here as my 4th running back and see what happens. I got the thumbs up. Thank you, Draft Wizard, for the kind emoji. Sometimes I need a little positive reinforcement. That's true. Moore goes next with Arizona, then James Conner, which puts me back on the clock. You know what? Not a big fan of this receiver. Marquis Brown is out there, though, and he did have a good run. Now, like, he's a mistake guy. He's always taking advantage of the mistakes going out there. But I kind of want just the third quarterback here. I do value that quite a bit, and I see where things are going. It's a lot of age right now left on the quarterback board. could go with another young guy in Mac Jones. I don't know if I want to do that. I think I want to take a little bit of maybe just a bit more stability. And this guy doesn't get enough credit for just being a decent fantasy quarterback, because you start digging into Derek Carr, and guess what? You're going to laugh and say, oh, Derek Carr. But you know what? Derek Carr shows up and plays and starts, and at this point in time is my third quarterback with a little bit of the youth that I have there. It covers me with a better insurance policy than one of the 40-year-old guys like Tom Brady still on the board. So that's where I'm going there over the unknown of Winston. That puts Tags on the clock there, and he takes Dallas Goedert very quickly as your tight end.
Steal.
Agreed.
This late. I have him ranked as my number 6 tight end this year. Actually, he may have moved to number 7 with the whole Pitts thing. But he's in that tier. He's in that tier, the 5 through 7 tight ends where I have him. And Zach Ertz is going to be gone. Zach Ertz is not going to be on that football team. So they're lacking pass catchers. Dallas Goedert has already flashed that he could be a top 12 tight end. I love it.
All right, Yates, that's put you on the clock again, and you've got your back-to-back picks. It's kind of like Yates at the turn. It's a fun thing because 16 picks just fly right after Yates makes his pick, so he gets to talk about both of his together. But just so everyone knows, he is not on the turn, okay? Just want to remind everybody as we're doing this draft. Go ahead, Yates.
Yeah, I took Jonnu Smith here at the beginning of the 11th round, and I sat down and did projections for this year, and it's very difficult to not view Jonnu Smith as the target leader for this entire offense. I think that they were going to be very creative with the way that they get the ball in his hands. To be my tight end 1, stay on brand here, go with Jonnu Smith. And then I'm looking at grabbing my third quarterback here. I've got some options, obviously waiting until the 12th round. I don't need this guy to start, right? But I want some upside with this, and I'm going to go with Cam Newton here. I've talked about, I don't think that Mac Jones starts a game in 2021. Wow. Cam Newton, when he is healthy, right, and that's something that we have to consider, is that COVID derailed his season last year, that when he is healthy, the amount of red zone carries that he gets, 25 red zone carries last year, ridiculous, which just leads to incredible things for fantasy football. So Cam Newton here to be my QB3. I'll take the upside. All right, Tags, that's put you on the clock here, and another quick pick for you.
Oh, that was, yeah. I mean, Marquis Brown. When you started talking about Marquis Brown,
I know. I almost did it.
He was someone I was considering, but there was no way I was going to let Dallas Goedert fall further than that. I was like, I have a much better chance of getting Marquis Brown than I do Goddard. So to get both of them, I'm happy.
All right, now it's whether or not you want to start kicking around the tires on a couple other running backs here. Kenneth Gainwell still on the clock, on the board. Naheem Hines, Tariq Cohen, those secondary pass catching kind of running backs. Also, Gus Edwards still around. A fair amount of young wide receiver talent also still there. So I'm going to go ahead and take a running back that I just personally like a lot. And this new coaching staff came in there and made this pick, and that means something to me. So I'm going to take a look at Kenneth Gainwell here, 22 years old. You can't have too many running backs in this format the way it is. And yeah, it might be a slight reach, but you know what? Come week 10, I think I'm going to be happy that I reached for another running back. Taysom Hill and Naheem Hines go next, which leaves me a fair amount of wide receivers to look at. And I'll tell you what, I think Darnell Mooney showed me a lot last year. I was very excited about what I saw out of him. Really showed you these kind of ready to take a next step, I think. I know these guys, self-loathing Bear fans might be just miserable about everything, although things are looking up with Fields, and I think that'll help Darnell Mooney as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take Mooney here as another wide receiver on my team. That brings Tags up next with the 1303 pick.
It's rare to get a wide receiver this late in Dynasty draft that has the potential to be like a top 15 Dynasty wide receiver. I think I'm getting that with Mike Williams. I'm going Mike Williams here. I love it. All
right. How many games does Mike Williams play in 2021?
That's the problem.
That's a problem. Every year it's a problem. And I love Mike Williams. I was Mr. Mike Williams, and I had to break up with him. I was it. I had to go call him and say, look, it's not working out.
That's part of what makes him great, but I mean, when he's on the field. But I mean, now tied to Justin Herbert, a guy that can sling it, I like it.
Fair enough. All right, Yates, there you go with your back-to-back picks. You made a pick. Now 16 guys are flying off the board. So who'd you just pick in the 13th, and who are you picking in the 14th?
The more that I study the Baltimore Ravens backfield, the more I like Gus Edwards. Not only for redraft purposes, but then also dynasty, because it's him and J.K. Dobbins. And you're going to see a pretty even split here among these two running backs. And then it's Justice Hill, who's proven nothing. So what happens if Dobbins goes down with an injury? Suddenly Gus Edwards is a league winner. So my RB5, I do not need him to start. I don't need to rely on him, but I have that upside here built in. And in the 13th round, I think that that's good value. So now I'm back up here. I want to start taking some shots with wide receiver here, because again, it does get pretty gross here pretty quickly. So I've got guys like Paris Campbell, Mecole Hardman, Darius Slayton, Jamison Crowder sitting here staring me in the face. Man, I will go with, I don't know who I'm going to go with.
9 seconds, 8 seconds,
the worst.
I might not get crazy production out of this guy, but I do think that he's going to be on the field year one.
Man.
And I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to lean on him. I'll go with Marvin Jones here. Again, do not need him.
I like that pick, dude. I like that pick.
My wide receiver 5, I think that it's good value.
Dude, I think it's good value too. He was on my queue, so I'm right there with you. Tags, you're up next. And a sigh of joy from Tags.
This is the point of the draft where it's like I need to round up. I need to make sure I have a well-balanced roster. Jamal Williams, he's not going to play in front of DeAndre Swift, but they're going to use a multiple back set there. They paid him a lot of money to come in, and if Swift were to miss any time, Jamal Williams would be something. So it's more like this is like one of those like it's just one of those guys in your roster. Jamal Williams is a decent running back, but there's not a whole lot of names here I feel confident about where even if there were a starter that would go down, like J.D. McKissick, for example, he's someone that you can grab and be like, all right, I'm going to use him for one more year. But then after that, his career is basically over. Marlon Mack coming off an Achilles injury. Sony Michel is just dead. Keyshawn Vaughn, again, another guy just dead on the depth chart. Like they've already given up on him. So it's just, you look at all that stuff and it's like, Jamal Williams at least has an opportunity.
All right. Speaking of opportunity, I think this is kind of a weird make or break scenario for Mecole Hardman this year too. And looking at the age, 23 years old, looking at how many other wide receivers I have, it might be worth that shot. A guy that probably doesn't need a whole lot of volume to return value, but he's going to be playing with one of the best quarterbacks for the next couple of years. So this is the second player I'm taking this kind of at a fork in the road in his career. But you know what? I want to see if he takes that step. So if him and Moss can take that step and become something, then all of a sudden this team is really good right away. And if they don't, these guys get cut and I move on next year in the rookie draft and try to replace them. That's the best case scenario. And sometimes you got to take shots in leagues like this. That puts me back on the clock for another pick here. And I'm going to go with another wide receiver who is just getting no love, no credit. You know what? I'm going to give Nelson Aguilar some love. I'm going to do it. The guy had a great run last year with the Las Vegas Raiders and very steady productivity wise. You know what? I think that maybe, just maybe, we look back at some of the things that were wrong in Philadelphia. Maybe we want to put all that blame on Nelson Aguilar. Maybe there's some other things that, in terms of coaching, in terms of scheme, in terms of playbook, that really weren't the best scenario. And whenever New England is looking at a guy, I think it's certainly worth noticing whether or not they think he can be useful in that offense. I love Tags' next pick, which is another tight end, believe it or not. So take me through Cole Kmet here.
I just want to say, screw you, Team 1. Paris Campbell. I was worried about Joe taking him just because I was
going to take him on the way back there, and it didn't work.
Oh, okay. So
I rolled the dice. It didn't work. What are you going to do?
Well, good. I didn't get mad at you. I'd rather get mad at Team 1. But
Team 1's a jerk.
But no, Cole Kmet now tied to, like, Jimmy Graham, I thought for sure was going to get cut, so I thought you were going to have a top 15 in Kmet this year. But things were trending towards him getting more playing time, but if Jimmy Graham's still there, he's still going to get targets. So it's not so much a this year pick, but I already have Dallas Goedert on my roster for this year. But Cole Kmet down the road, it's like now he's tied to Justin Fields, like a deadly accurate quarterback. Allen Robinson, we don't know how long he's going to be with the Bears. And behind Allen Robinson, the Bears have 0 pass catchers. Like Darnell Mooney, he was fine. He's a fine number 2. Yeah. Field stretcher. Anthony Miller's in the doghouse. They don't like him anymore. So there's a lot of question marks there. So Cole Kmet here in the 15th round.
I love it. And as you saw, the snap count went way up. I want to give a shout out to our boy Lamont, who had that little stat there, listener of the show. Good job there, Lamont. Yates, you're on the clock now, and you took, you took Tyler Higby. That's what you done.
Yeah, so, I mean, in the 15th round, my turn there, I took Bryan Edwards. So pairing, and it's important to know what you've done previously in your draft. So in the 14th round, I took Marvin Jones, right? And that veteran receiver who I do think has some opportunity this year to be a contributor for my roster, but he's getting towards the end of his career. So I double down there and take the opposite with Bryan Edwards, who has done nothing up to this point of his career, but has all the potential in the world. And I do think is going to be more involved this year. So swing for the fences there with Bryan Edwards. I come back in the 16th round, get Tyler Higby, who, man, I really, really like this year. You're looking at Bryson Hopkins and Jacob Harris, at the tight end position there behind him. I think Tyler Higby with Matthew Stafford and this offense, I think he's about to take off.
All right, that puts us on the clock for Tags now. And funny, because Higby was on my queue, he's gone. And Dwayne Eskridge, another one of Yates' favorites, is now on Tags' team, who was also on our queue as well.
That was when you're drafting with guys and the guys that like this happens in my home leagues too, guys. Where it's like I know the guys that are paying attention to my draft sheets, and I know the guys that are not going to be there if I wait too long. And Eskridge was one of those players.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and take this is when you start taking your guys. So Van Jefferson's one of my guys. He's going to give me a reach alert, I'm sure. And there it is. Boom. I don't care. I knew it was coming there. I want my guy.
Scoop.
I'm going to have my dude on my team. There you go.
There it is.
That's
Oh,
fine.
boy.
It's
Here we
perfectly
go.
fine here. All right. Le'Veon Bell and then Darius Slayton go next here. That puts me back on the clock. And you know what? I'm going to, because I have a lot of these, well, maybe it'll work out kind of guys, I think I want somebody who might be able to help me in the first year a little bit more. And I think John Brown might be able to do that. John Brown's a very good wide receiver. It's always health. I think we've talked about that quite a bit. I think Las Vegas, he kind of fills a interesting role there. You saw Nelson Aguilar fill. And I don't like Bryan Edwards. And I don't like some of the other pieces they have there. And I think John Brown might go in there and surprise a lot of people. He's definitely a 2021 pick. But sometimes you got to make those kind of picks in Dynasty. Not everything can be about the future. You got to win a little bit now, or a lot of it now in my case. So that puts Yates and Tags back on the clock. Tags, you are next, and you went to Tennessee, your new favorite team, for another pick.
My new favorite team.
Well, geez, you got Julio now. You live there. I mean, how is it not your favorite
You're
team?
welcome, Titans fans. I just want to say that.
It's all Tags. It's all Tags, everybody.
Yeah, no one's ever seen us in the same room. Darrington Evans is a guy that basically he's free, and he's the handcuff to Derrick Henry. I mean, Darrington Evans is never going to be a Derrick Henry running back. He's never going to be a guy that's going to get 20, 25 touches a game. He's just not that running back. But I always thought that he was going to, coming out in the draft, I thought he'd be an excellent timeshare back. And if this team does go with a more pass-friendly approach without Arthur Smith, we might see more Darrington Evans on the field, especially now that they have the best wide receiver duo in the league. Oh, yeah, I said it. Best wide receiver duo in the league. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. So Darrington Evans is a bench stash. I'm perfectly fine with him. I mean, he's out there in a lot of waiver wires in Dynasty Leagues right now.
All right, fair enough. Something to keep in mind. All right, Yates, give us your two picks here.
So I went with Cole Beasley there in the 17th round, and that is a 2021, right? Like, this is still a really, really good offense, and Cole Beasley still has a very, very clear role here. I don't think that he's going to be around much longer, but I do think that he provides some stability for my roster. In the 17th round, I'll take that. I'm going to go for a swing for the fences pick here in the 18th round. I'm going to go with Larry Roundtree, the running back for the Los Angeles Chargers, because there is a path here for him to be that starting running back alongside Austin Eckler. You know, Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly have done next to nothing. So Larry Roundtree, I liked him coming out. He's got an uphill battle to get to that point where he is the starting running back, but it's worth a shot here in the 18th round.
Yeah, boy, oh boy, running back is ugly right now. I just want to put that out there. Tags, you are on the clock here, and boy, that three starting running backs really does throw a wrinkle into this format, doesn't it?
It really did. It really did for the entire draft strategy.
That's why I took CMC first. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to be above everybody else at RB1 and hope he stays healthy and hope for the best. That's the only reason I didn't go with quarterback early.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad with that, dude.
That's good.
All right, so I am torn here. Do I draft a third quarterback? Tyrod Taylor's there. He's going to get some starts this year, but it feels like I don't love it. I'm gonna take Adam Troutman, tight end. It's my third tight end in the roster, which I typically don't grab a bunch of tight ends, but in Dynasty, having multiple tight ends is not a bad thing, because if you get one that pans out, like, think about it. Mark Andrews, someone took him with a late round pick. You think about these other guys that were taken with late round picks, and all of a sudden it's like you have an asset on your Dynasty team that you can trade for other valuable things. Rather than taking some wide receivers that I know what they are, that don't have a whole bunch of value, I'll take Troutman.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to kind of do the same here with Pat Freiermuth. I think I'm going to take an asset, see if maybe I can deal him to another team that's looking to kind of get better at tight end, sees the upside there. First-year player, those guys tend to have a lot more value than maybe they deserve, and he's a very good talent, had a very good college career, but once again, I think there's some value to be had there in the open market. Sometimes you want to draft guys just so you can move them. Sometimes that's what the value is on the board. Mills and Johnson, a free agent, going next year, so it's back to me. Oh my goodness, you know, I really want to take another running back in the worst way just for depth, but it is tough out there. It is really difficult. I don't know, man. DJ Dallas, Justice Hill, those guys aren't really screaming to me. Gio Bernard does have the phenomenal quads. We all know that, so that could certainly be something to consider. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to go back to that wide receiver because I just don't like what else is out there. And you know what? I kind of just want to see here. Once again, I need some age here on the team for this year. So let's throw a dart at T.Y. Hilton. It's very late in the draft. I got the thumbs up. I got the value pick. That's what I was looking for. And look, maybe I get a couple good matchups for him. Maybe Carson Wentz can make him relevant. He had a good stretch to finish the year. But again, staying on the field has been a problem for him. That puts tags on the clock, and he was ready to make that next pick.
Yeah, KJ Hamler. I debated him last round, and it was just kind of like, all right, they're loaded there at wide receiver, but if they're a quarterback away from being one of the best offenses in the NFL. So KJ Hamler, they're going to line him up in the slot an awful lot, which is beneficial when you have Jerry Jeudy out there, you have Cortland Sutton out there. So yeah, I'm happy.
All right, Yates, that puts you on the clock. Give us your pick for the 19th and the 20th round.
Yeah, I went with Russell Gage. We talked about him earlier, that he's going to see an uptick in targets. He just naturally has to. Just how much of production is that going to lead to? I don't think that it's going to be a crazy amount, but I do think that we're going to see his ADP rise just a little bit here in startup drafts. So I'll take him here in the 19th round and just see, let's see what this coaching staff thinks of him. Can he play outside? There's enough upside there for me to invest here in the 19th round. And then I'm going to go with one of my guys, just one of my favorite players to watch. Coming out last year, loved him. Knew that he was going to take a year to acclimate to the offense, acclimate to the NFL, but we are hearing a ton of positive buzz about Devin Duvernay in Baltimore. So I think that we are going to see him involved in this offense quite a bit here in the 20th round. I probably could have waited. A round or two, but we're at the point where I don't care about reaches. We're in the 19th, 20th round of a dynasty startup. You got to go get your guys.
And look, there's a good chance that some of these last picks are going to be the first guys off when you start looking at the waiver wire or start the draft next year, or in the rookie draft, these guys who could very well be cut next year. So we're just taking darts here. And speaking of darts, Tags throws on Anthony Miller after talking about him being in the doghouse. Well, I guess he took him out for a walk.
Well, he's on the final year of his contract. And right. I still think Anthony Miller is a talented football player. He is talented, and apparently there's some things going on with like the learning the playbook and whatnot. If that's the thing, he may never make it. But at the same time, I'll just take the chance on his talent. Here,
all right, I'm going to take a chance too because I have Zach Moss already. Give me Matt Breida too, just to see. I just want to see. It might be terrible. Yeah, it's a slight reach. Who cares? Whatever. This is when I'm going to start finding some backup running backs and just starting to throw some darts. And the next one I'm going to do back-to-back is Miami's Malcolm Brown too, in case Myles Gaskin isn't the guy, or the smaller frame doesn't hold up and they pivot to Malcolm Brown. We'll see what happens with that. So I'm just taking running back depth here, hoping that maybe they can contribute in some fashion, and I can keep some of that fab for some other guys that might be out there as the season goes on. You are up next, Tags, your pick.
I went with Tylan Wallace, the Ravens receiver that Yates should have picked.
No.
Ooh, throwing it down. The Ravens receiver you should have picked. How do you feel about that, Yates? Can we get a response on that one?
It's very hard to see how Tylan Wallace makes this roster in 2021.
I'd be willing to bet that.
Oh no! Don't say that
I'll bet
word.
on that.
Things get crazy. All right, well, we'll have to have a little discussion about that. Yates, you're up next for the 21st, and then you're back again for your 22nd pick.
This ADP is ridiculous for Rob Gronkowski here in the 21st round. Now, listen, I know that he's probably not going to play much past this year, but this is a starting tight end who is pretty good and has a clear role in this offense, in a very, very good offense. So, I mean, he was ADP tight end 30. And I got him here in the 21st round. I feel like that's worth the investment as my tight end 3. In case Jonnu doesn't pan out the way that I think he will, or Tyler Higby, I've got Rob Gronkowski that I can fall back on. All right, so back on the clock here, the 22nd round. And at this point, guys, with quarterback, with running back, no, thank you. I will just punt the position. I've got 3 quarterbacks that I feel fine in. Normally, I would like to have 4 in a startup that is this deep, but looking at these guys, nope, I'm good. So I will go to the wide receiver position. We've got guys like Josh Reynolds, Brashad Perryman, Emmanuel Sanders. But I'm going to go and look down the list here. I'm going to go with Kendrick Bourne here, who they brought in, right? They brought in free agency. They paid him quite a bit of money here. They were pretty intentional in bringing him into this offense early on. What happens if we see a little bit more of a intentional target share to these wide receivers than I'm anticipating? He's worth a shot here in the 22nd round.
I agree. Next is Tags, and he goes to Houston for another quarterback. Very cagey there, Tags. I see you. I see what you're doing here. Go ahead.
I needed a third quarterback. I mean, this is the part where I hate reaching for a third quarterback when there's such talented players on the board. Like this, at this point in the draft, it's okay. So Tyrod Taylor, a guy that's going to start. I honestly think he might start the whole season. Like maybe not the whole season. They're probably going to switch over to their rookie, but I'll say at least 6 starts this season minimum. And in Superflex, that has some value. I mean, I'm not expecting miracles. He's only 31. It feels like Tyrod Taylor is like literally like 38 years old. I looked at that because on the Draft Wizard, it tells you their ages in the Dynasty picks. And it's like 31. Is that all he is? He just feels a lot older than that.
Yeah, and stay away from the trainer's room, Tyrod. You don't need to go there. All right, I'm going to take another tight end, too. I like Gerald Everett. Seattle does like to use the tight end. The problem is they haven't been able to get anybody in that role, really, since Jimmy Graham left. It's been a carousel of guys, and I wonder if Everett can actually be that dude. All right, that brings me back up after Perriman and Carlos Hyde go next. Oh, what to do in terms of quarterback? I think I've got my 3. I feel pretty good about that. I don't like any of these other names that are out there. In terms of tight end, I just took another one, which makes me looking again at, of course, some older wide receivers. You got the Quentin Cephases of the world, the Hunter Renfrows of the world, the MVSs of the world. Not very exciting stuff, that's for sure. I'm going to take a wide receiver that I actually like quite a bit, that seems to play well with his quarterback, and I don't know why, and maybe someday it'll all just come together. But let's go with a little Rashard Higgins here. How about that? Let's go. Let's go, Higgins. I like what I see out of Higgins whenever Baker Mayfield and him get on the same page, and usually it takes Odell Beckham not being on the field for that to happen, but as we all know, that was a reality last year. We'll see what goes on with ODB. Next is Quentin Cephas, who Tags does indeed take right after me. So, Tags, you feel good about that pick?
Yeah, I didn't want you bad-mouthing my dude. I think that
he... bad-mouthing him. I'm just not excited. I already got Hawkinson. How many Lions can I have here?
Well, that's true. But he might be the most talented wide receiver on that roster.
He might be. It's not wrong. You're not wrong. Yates, you're up next for your final picks here.
Yeah, Fulgham last year showed me enough in Philadelphia for me to invest here in the 23rd round. They're going to need that bigger-bodied receiver on the outside, and I think that he has a clear path to starting. I don't think that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is going to necessarily take that role. So Travis Fulgham, worth the shot here in the 23rd round. And then I will take a guy who I am grabbing in the last round of startup drafts everywhere. That is Byron Pringle. I talked about him a little bit here on the podcast, saying that there is a ton of positive buzz coming out about him in Kansas City with the opening there. With Sammy Watkins leaving, they bring in Cornell Powell in the 5th round. I don't think that he's going to be guaranteed a role at all. Demarcus Robinson, we know who he is at this point. Let's go with Byron Pringle, and he's worth the shot here. If he doesn't pan out, it doesn't hurt my roster in any way, but it could pay off in a big way.
All right, Tags, that's put you up. Less pick of your draft. Where are you going?
I'm going to take J.D. McKissick's eventual replacement there in Washington. It's Jared Patterson.
All right.
I'm telling you, while watching film, that guy reminds me of Darren Sproles a little bit. I like him.
All right, there you have it. The next Darren Sproles, we shall see. And I'm just going to try to take whatever I can here on the board here. Again, not a very exciting grouping of guys. We got Hunter Renfrow, MVS, Tyler Johnson, Keelan Cole Sr. here with the Jets. But I'm going to throw another dart once again on Hunter Renfrow. I don't know why. I just can't quit him for some reason. I don't know. So the draft is now complete. It's time for grades. I got a B- here on mine. Tags, what do you have on yours?
I got a B+, 89 out of 100.
All right, so 81 out of 100 for me, 89. Yates, how about you?
I got a 70 out of 100, but I absolutely 70. Love my team.
Well, that's important, and I think I want to drive this home too. What we're giving you here on the Wizard is the analytics, right? The projections that are built in, but let's also build in the analysis and the things that Yates and Tags and I are trying to bring to you guys too, to make you understand where there's opportunities that they might outperform these projections. So the grades are based on the projections, but we all know that's a starting point. It's not an ending point. So Yates, take me through your squad, what you see, because looking at the rankings right now, it's Team 5, Team 11, Team 8, Team 6, and then me overall, followed by Tags, and then followed by you all the way down at 12. So the Draft Wizard did not send you your letter for Hogwarts today, my friend.
Well, no, this is probably built into, because in those later rounds, it was just reach after reach. But that was because I was grabbing my guys. And so, and again, my rankings tend to differ quite a bit from the consensus. So going to get my guys, I knew that my grade wasn't necessarily going to be fantastic, but I love this team. Kyler Murray, I've got Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and then Cam Newton as my starting quarterbacks there. I've got Zeke, Travis Etienne, Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette, Gus Edwards at running back. And then at wide receiver, I've got Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Corey Davis, Michael Pittman Jr., Marvin Jones, Bryan Edwards, Cole Beasley, Russell Gage, Devin Duvernay, Kendrick Bourne, Travis Fulgham, Byron Pringle. Oh, and I have Larry Roundtree as well at running back. And then tight end, Jonnu Smith, Tyler Higby, and Rob Gronkowski.
Shocking to see Jonnu Smith on a Yates roster. Did not see that coming. I'm sure everybody else did not either. Tags, it's funny. You got a B+, I got a B-, but it says I'm going to beat you. So I guess in the playoffs, you just kind of fell short. You choked. I can only assume that's what happens here in the Wizard.
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying. It's just a fact. It says I'm above you. So it's
don't start with me, part-time magician.
It seems like Tags that you were doing very well in the standings, and then that first round exit, and you just can't get over that playoff hump. Just every year, maybe this will be it. We'll see. But take me through your roster and your thoughts now, looking back on it.
Yeah, no. So Josh Allen, quarterback. My second quarterback is Trey Lance. Feel really good about those two. Honestly, I usually don't end up with two quarterbacks that are top 12 options in my rankings, just because I just want one top 12, one top 24, and I'll figure out the rest. But I feel really good about those guys. Running backs, Najee Harris is RB1, Josh Jacobs is 2, Gaskin is 3. I feel great about all those, honestly. The wide receivers, looking at it, I do like it. It just felt weird picking Chris Godwin where I did. I don't know if I could redo that, if I would. But Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Deebo Samuel is my starting wide receivers. The flex is where it gets dicey, right? I have Ronald Jones, I have Marquis Brown, Elijah Moore, Mike Williams. Like, those are all guys that could probably compete. And then you get to the bench, and like these are guys that are hoping to break out. Cole Kmet, Adam Troutman, Jamal Williams, KJ Hamler, Darrington Evans, Anthony Miller, Dwayne Eskridge, Tyrod Taylor again, just to fill a few voids during bye weeks. Tylan Wallace, Quentin Cephas, and Jared Patterson.
I like that Hamler pick too. I think he's an underrated talent. I think there's something there.
It's just so crowded there.
It is. That's the problem, right? It's crowded and it's Bridgewater, and how good could it get? But you know what? Courtland Sutton, nobody thought he would miss the season last year, and he did. Things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
For me in this Superflex startup, I like the two quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. They're kind of leading me for the next decade. One can only hope. I got Carr in there too as the third. My running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, Zach Moss, and Trey Sermon. So a little bit of youth there, you would say, but hopefully they can kind of come of age sooner than later. Wide receivers, DJ Moore, Woods, and Chenault. I think Moore and Woods is a solid kind of 1-2 there. I don't have that elite wide receiver, but I do have Christian McCaffrey. Hopefully that makes up. But I do have a tight end who I think is going to be in the top tier at least for a few years to come in Hockenson in terms of volume. When you're looking at the bench here, it's Darnell Mooney, Kenneth Gainwell, Mecole Hardman, Nelson Aguilar, John Brown, Freiermuth, Gerald Everett, T.Y. Hilton, Van Jefferson, Renfro, Breida, Higgins, and Malcolm Brown. So there you have it, everybody. And that's always a fun exercise to go through these things. And of course, if you're looking to play some Dynasty, Fantrax is a great place because Fantrax is the most customizable fantasy platform in the industry, offering the greatest fantasy experience of your Dynasty Keeper, redraft leagues, and best ball as well. Fantrax's free NFL Fantasy Football League Manager is the most customizable, easy to use, and features a rich platform in the industry. So, coming from another service, Fantrax can import any of your current leagues and customize them if you need it. You can change your league's playoff settings, have double-header matchups, have bonus fantasy points awarded for things like 50 total yards or having a 20-yard play, and upgrade to the premium league today. And your first year is absolutely free. Free first year premium over at Fantrax. So fantasy sports doesn't sleep, and neither does Fantrax. With all season long, 365 days a year, they are running content and running leagues over there. There's a reason why fantasy players who try Fantrax make it the permanent home for all their fantasy leagues. So sign up for free today and be entered to win a signed Christian McCaffrey jersey. Just go to fantrax.com/fantasypros. Again, that's fantrax.com/fantasypros. Sign up today. Fantrax, the home of fantasy sports. And I want to thank Fantrax and Magic Spoon, of course. Don't forget about the spoon, everybody. That's why Tags is in such a good mood today, because he had his Magic Spoon, so be like Tags. That's right, be like Mike. Go to magicspoon.com/fantasypros and use that code FANTASYPROS to save $5 off your order. And don't forget, of course, what we just did here, which is mock drafting on the Wizard. Go to fantasypros.com/simulator. Get your mock draft on. It's mock draft season. It is time. We had a Julio trade. We had a draft. It was a jam-packed show. We hope you enjoyed it, but that'll do it for us. However, the story of the game does go on. For Tags and Yates, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Fantasy Pros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.